I forgot.
The Chicago
Hello.
Bears, who came with the dumbest game plan in the history of football.
I forgot I added that clip to our intro. Hello and welcome to,
Hey, we like your pod.
and we're going to tell you why, and some extra stuff too. Hi, it's Dawn here, and I'm joined as always by my trusted partner, Matt Pickett. How you doing, Matt? I love your background.
Thank you.
It's so
Thank you.
cheeseheady. Oh, I love it.
Unfortunately, True North already saw this background on Lombardi's bar, so he already knows when he shows up. So
Okay,
won't be news to him. But yeah, I finally put some stuff up in my dungeon here, and I'm really happy about how
looking.
it's looking. At least as a first draft, I know that like this needs to be ironed a bit. I realize that,
Yes.
but yeah, really happy about that. And school starts next week at UC. My kids got back to school yesterday. Things are just
Oh,
kind of like,
wow.
ramping up. Before we know it, I'll be sipping pumpkin spice lattes, and
I
we'll
know.
be watching real football, Dawn Real Football, which we'll come back to that in a second. But how are you doing?
Oh, I am doing great and really looking forward to real football and kind of just like take kicking my feet up and just watching something,
Mm, mhm.
because I've been extremely more active and my body is telling me chill out. So it's a perfect time to just kind of do some chilling now because I was busy
Yeah.
with many things, including overdoing it, of course, with Tasha's catio upgrade, which was like to me like building a house. It is a little house, but it's all winterized, such that we have winter here.
Mhm.
Okay,
It drops two
so
degrees.
yeah, well, in San Diego, it's very different this year. I'm going to tell you why. Because our ocean, the Pacific Ocean here, at least, I don't know if it's the entire Pacific, but here, it's the temperature of the ocean is elevated ex- a lot. And I was
Okay.
reading about it in spring, and it can affect, like wildlife and birds, and it can have a real detrimental effect that it's so warm. And where I live, at least, the reason it's so cool and, pleasant all the time is because generally the ocean is a little cooler. And so even on a warm day, you have this cool offshore breeze coming that's been cooled by the ocean.
Hmm.
Right. And El Nino is coming. And so that's why it's a little warmer here. It's like today was like 75, 76, but it's been like sometimes 78. But to us, it feels really weird because the offshore is coming with kind of warm, wet air instead of the cool air that we're used to.
Yeah.
So it's not in our heads. But, and was that True North who popped in with El Nino?
No,
So,
it's Mark Wellner. What up,
oh,
Mark?
hi,
Good to see you,
Mike.
man.
Hi, Mike. Mark. My mouth's not working, Mark. Okay, so sorry. And so we have El Nino,
Hmm.
and they are. I am so excited because we're supposed to get some rain because we don't, here get very much rain, and I get really excited if
Right.
there's anything like that happening. And so, Tasha's catio was really tall. It was over 7 feet tall, but it's kind of not narrow. It's not deep.
Yeah.
And so I was worried. It's been 2 years out there. I wanted to make sure it was nice and, the structure was sound. So I took a couple feet off. I put a trellis up and a pretty vine over it. I did all kinds of extra reinforcements. And oh my God, my physical therapist is like, why did you insist on hurting yourself? Like you're undoing all of the good things we're doing. And I'm like, no, but I'm getting stronger. So it was fun. And yeah, anyway, so the catio is a big deal. The weather's a big deal here. It's a little warm,
Hmm.
but I am not complaining. I am
Yeah.
not
Do not complain, please.
not complaining. It is yesterday we didn't have much breeze and we were all like, "Oh, it's not breeze." But anyway, super happy. And then next week I get pain injections in my spine, so then I can just chill out with those and feel better.
Ooh, all right.
Yeah, so I'm excited for fall pumpkin spice protein drinks, which I have to drink lots of,
Mhm.
and the El Nino. Yeah,
And then,
yeah.
True North says here in the chat that he's seen me more this week than his kids have. The reason for that, for those who don't know my news, is that I was recently promoted on Lombardi's Bar. Took over for Dan Kotnick, who has left for the big time, I guess, or something. So, of course, I was the producer for the show for the last 2 seasons, I think. And now I'm actually on screen and stuff, which is crazy. But this last week, if you want to go back and check it out, we had some internet issues, but a good guest, which was Tom Grassi. So quick plug for the show there. But usually we
I love
go
that,
on.
Matt. I was so excited.
Mondays at 8 o'clock
Yes.
Central Standard. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to step over you there.
No, it's quite right. What
I
were you
was
saying,
so
Doctor?
excited you told me about it, but you didn't tell me that. And I'm like, oh, Matt's on screen. What is happening here? I didn't know if you were substituting. I didn't hear an announcement. Maybe I missed that part, but it was a really great show with Tom and Todd. And yeah, I
Mhm.
enjoyed the heck out of it. Thank you for sharing it with me. I mean, I am subscribed, but
Mhm.
I missed all of the I haven't been on YouTube as much the last month or so. So that's great news. And so it's going to be Monday at 7 Central.
7 Mountain Time, I guess, but 8 o'clock Central,
Oh,
9 o'clock my time, and
okay.
6 o'clock out there with
My
the
time
folks in California. Yeah, that's
with
right.
the dolphins.
With the
Okay.
dolphins.
Well, not those dolphins, the real dolphins,
The ones what
the
swim in the ocean.
sharks. Mm-hmm.
True North says, so Pickett convinced the prison warden to put up Packers gear for Tom Grassi, but not for Iowa Joe and I. I see where chat ranks.
Um,
I don't know that I can beat those charges. Actually, True North, there was an element of like Tom Grassi can't think I'm in a prison cell. So I will admit I will cop to that. I was like it spurred me to find action, but part of it too was just a random comment that one of my coworkers made about a week and a half ago, and I was talking about the situation like just use command strips, you ding dong. Because I was gonna get
oh yeah.
chains and things and stuff to hold the flag up. It was just ridiculously elaborate, and I couldn't get all the materials. And I was like, wait a minute, command strips. That's
Right.
so much easier.
Yeah,
So
you shouldn't have to drill into concrete.
yeah, shouldn't be crazy
Yeah,
like that.
I'm glad that worked out. That's really cool.
Yeah,
Well, you promised here that you would have yourself
that's right.
organized before the first of the season, and which is when we're going to
I
move
did.
over to our platform. So it all works out.
It all works out. So Don, I
Yeah.
mentioned almost like football that we're watching right now. Have you been watching? We had one preseason game, of course, another one coming up tomorrow night as we're recording this. Did you watch the first one? What was your level of engagement? Tell me all about it.
I did. And by the way, you went on vacation. We haven't even heard about your vacation, but
Oh my gosh, you're right.
yeah, I just realized that. I watched Family Night. I was late. I didn't get it until the second quarter. And then I watched the first was that the first preseason? No, when I watched the first preseason game, and I was kind of late for that too. But I mean, and then I was worried about injuries, and Kennard went down.
Mhm.
Do we know how he is?
I think it's okay. I think everyone's who has more recent injuries is actually doing fine.
That's what I thought I heard from Mike and Wes. So that's good. I wanted to
Mhm.
make sure that I was hearing that correctly. So yeah, I got a haircut.
It looks nice, by the way. Yeah, I meant to say.
Oh, well, I got it. No, it's the same cut as last time. It's just back.
Dog
I mean,
hair
I'm saying
dude.
it because Iowa Joe said something
Yes.
about my hair. It's actually a little bit of a mess right now.
I don't know. That's cool. I like it.
Thank you. I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying it because it was so hot. I had to get my hair
Hmm.
cut off. 76.
So hot, sure.
So hot. Yeah, and then there's a friend I just found out was in town, so I'm going with another friend down to Del Mar to see her tomorrow. I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, so life is good in the summer, but I'm really looking forward to fall this year. For
Yes,
sure.
no doubt. You can be watching the preseason game tomorrow night. Do you have a way to watch
I
that?
will.
Actually?
I will be home by then.
I figured I'd
think
watch
it's
the first hour myself, but
7 my time this time, so it won't be 6. When it's 6 o'clock, it's kind of hard because I'm just like, you know, it's early. Sometimes it's like 5 o'clock. I think one of them was at 5 for me. What time is it?
The one this week will be at 6 o'clock your time.
Yeah, yeah. So that's good. And Jacob is just here to bother Matt. I love
Hey, Jacob.
that. We like
Hello, man.
to bother Matt. Well, you're just in time.
That's right.
It's time for this week's superlatives. Oops. I forgot how to work things.
How to in the studio.
I can't wait to get off of StreamYard. Sorry, StreamYard. You were great for a while, but all right. Well, I'm going to jump into my kind of extended superlative first so that we can kind of just move on from it afterwards, and you'll understand once you hear it. And I just want to remind everyone that this podcast, one of our taglines is we are featuring the best of, the worst of, and everything in between for Packers content. And we often talk about creators, and not just Packers creators, but NFL creators. So I'm going to cover something that overlaps with my interest in trial watching, true crime, if you might want to call it that, my law nerdiness, and our Packers community. And this is the case of Ryan Schlip, state of Wisconsin versus Ryan Schlip. And I think it should be talked about openly, but neutrally. So this is not my take on it. I'm going to provide some information from public record and from the hearings that I attended. So there is a personal connection to our podcast and as well as the Green Bay Packers podcasting community, if you know who Ryan Schlip is. So I do this with some trepidation, but also with confidence. Also, as a law nerd, like I said, I'm very interested in truth and justice, not flame throwing, finger pointing, or coming at people with pitchforks. So that's not what this is about. So Matt and I have known about this case for a while, but I wanted to wait for Ryan Schlip to have his day in court before saying anything, hoping that he was found innocent of these charges, but that's not what happened. And I do think that's the right thing to do. So this information hasn't been surfaced for the community, the Packers online community, and I believe that people deserve to know it for a couple reasons. So the broader issue here is the danger of children being exploited online, and that includes all online communities, even our Packers, our beloved Packers online community. So let's just as quickly as I can, go through the public record in the state of Wisconsin versus Ryan Schlip, whom some of you may know as Pack Daddy, Packernet, and other names online. Schlip was also, as I mentioned, personally connected to this podcast because he was a guest on our show in December of 2022. But we were not aware that he had been arrested before that until much later. So the charges, Ryan Schlip was charged in Jefferson County, Wisconsin in June of 2022. And the probable cause affidavit was submitted on June 9th, and it is not easily publicly available. So I'm still looking for it. And the case originally contained 5 felony counts. And I'm just going to briefly mention what they are. 4 were Class D felony counts of possession of child porn under the Wisconsin statute 948.12. And there was 1 count, which was a Class C felony count, which is more serious as the alphabet goes to the beginning. It's kind of wacky. And that one involved child sexual exploitation under Wisconsin statute 948.05. So those were the charges Schlip was facing as the case moved forward, back starting in June of 2022. The court did, you might be wondering, he's got a podcast, he's online, but he wasn't tried, he wasn't convicted, he was accused at that point. So the court did impose some significant conditions on his bail, including bail, while the case was pending. It's been over 4 years now. And among them, HWLYP was prohibited from accessing internet-capable devices. So this is kind of was making me uncomfortable. So I'm going to explain it. There were some exceptions for communicating, of course, with his attorney, as is normal, his employment, and a legal income generation, legal, not illegal. I meant to say legal, and legal income generation through self-employment. So that would have been his website, his podcast, right? So he was legally allowed to have his podcast all these years. So that last exception was really important, especially to me, because it explains why he was able to remain active online through Packernet, YouTube, PackDaddy, through his podcasts and all of that during the case. So the public record specifically allowed internet access, again, through that self-employment. And then there were other restrictions, but those are the ones that are important to us here. So those conditions were imposed years before August 2026, when Ryan HWLYP entered a plea, and before HWLYP appeared on our podcast, like I mentioned. So I will just say this is kind of the only personal thing I'm going to say is that really bothered me, got to me. So it is what it is. But again, he was accused, not convicted. So why did the case take so long? It's been over 4 years. The case took several years to move toward trial, in part because the defense challenged the state's evidence and was waiting on decisions, too, actually from the Wisconsin Supreme Court. Those were appellate decisions. This is where my law nerdiness, I won't go too long on this part of it. If you want to know more, just hit me up. But in May of 2025, so over a year ago, the defense told the court that 2 pending Supreme Court cases were directly relevant, and they were, I looked at them, to the issues it was raising, and the judge allowed additional time. So that was already 3 years though, okay? But that's how it is. If you watch trials, things take time. The judge allowed additional time and permitted the state to wait for those decisions before responding. And I will say they permitted the defense to wait. I think that was an incorrect reading of that, sorry. So, but the legal question is super important to digital age online communities, okay? And maybe we're all adults here, but we have children. Some of us have children, grandchildren that are online, that are involved with the Packers community or the NFL community. So this is, again, why it's important to me. So when companies such as Google or Snapchat, in this case, use their own systems to identify suspected CSAM material and report it to law enforcement, what can the government do with that information without first obtaining a search warrant? So that was the big questions in 2 of the big cases in front of the Supreme Court. The 2 cases were State versus Gaspar and State versus Roush-Chirac. That was involving Google. So the internet, the companies have filters, and they report to law enforcement if they see something that looks suspicious. So artificial intelligence and all that. But both decisions came down in a way that they were both rejected, and that was unfavorable to HWLYP's defense. So they found that out by February of this year. And so 3 days after they found that out, that last decision on February 27th, HWLYP's attorney appeared before the judge and told the court he had reviewed the decisions and that they wanted to move forward to a jury trial, which is scheduled for next week. However, there was a little bit more. There was another issue that kept coming up, and this is about a social media platform called Kick. And this is another thing I want to share with you all because it might matter to you in your life. Even if it matters to one person, I think it's important. So Kick is a platform that allows users to communicate through usernames rather than displaying or retaining phone numbers. So that can make it really difficult for parents to identify who their children are communicating with via phone records. They just have usernames. So anyone could have a username. Somebody could have my username, right? But it's not really me. So Schlip's defense challenged, of course, and his defense attorney was really good, the state's use of those kick records. And so specifically the issue was whether or not the state could establish that the records through kick's written certification or email, or whether they needed to come and testify. And so they were doing what defense attorneys do and pushing and pushing. Ultimately, on August 14th, the judge said, no, they don't have to appear. We will accept their business records from Kick as evidence. And when that happened, immediately, in light of the court's ruling, Schlip no longer wanted to proceed to a jury trial. So he had 3 different things that went against him, decisions, which were very interesting. I'm really summarizing. Again, this was a lot, and I did attend a couple of the hearings. So on August 14th, and this makes me sad to read this, to be honest. This gives me no pleasure. But following that decision about Kick, Schlip decided not to proceed with the jury trial. The court reviewed with him his constitutional rights and the potential penalties. And Schlip entered a no contest plea to 1 count, which was 1 count of one of the 4 felony Ds. So what happens is the judge accepted that plea, adjudicated him as guilty for that 1 count, and entered a judgment of conviction. So the sentencing is next week. But the 4 other counts, while they were dismissed with this plea agreement, and generally the public is not privy to plea agreements, but you can kind of read the tea leaves. Importantly, this is important, the other 4 counts were dismissed, however, they are read in. So the judge can consider that while sentencing next week. What he does, we don't know. I'm not speculating, but that is an important distinction. They weren't outright dismissed. And that, again, that's Class C, that one of those counts is a Class C exploitation charge. As you can imagine, each count, the more serious it is going to have more minimum sentence, minimum maximum prison sentence, that type of thing. So ultimately, Ryan will be sentenced next week with this 1 felony conviction. The others are read in. And so the public, like I said, the docket does confirm that there's an agreement, but doesn't disclose it. I'm not going to speculate about it. And although he pled no contest, he was adjudicated as guilty. So that is why now I am comfortable speaking about this, because the decision came down from the court one way or another, and that's what it is. So under Wisconsin law, an adult convicted under the possession of CSAM, which is ultimately that felony D, generally faces a mandatory minimum of 3 years. It's 3 to 25 max. So it's up to the judge at this point. And so in Wisconsin, the judge is required to sentence him to a minimum of 3 years. That's not negotiable. There's only one exception to that. That doesn't apply in this case. I won't go into it. And again, the maximum for that 1 count is 25 years. And those other charges were read in. So we don't know what's going to happen with Ryan in this case. So there's also, there's a lot of complicated with sentencing and all that, but there's also, after prison sentences, there's going to be a certain number of, generally speaking, a certain number of what people call probation or, guidance after he's released. So one thing I want to mention here before the sentencing on the 26th, if you were affected in any way by this, I hope you weren't, but if you weren't, there's still time for you to contact the judge if you feel like you need to do that. Just get in touch or just go to the Jefferson County website, find the clerk and give them the call, and they'll guide you through that. So broadly, I just think this case is worth discussing for a lot of reasons, and beyond the nerdy stuff, which I really got into. But we've had a guest here. I think it was last time you were on vacation, or maybe 2 years ago, Matt, when it was Robin Adams and I, and we discussed specifically the dangers that children face online. Um, and it means a lot to me. It means a lot to a lot of people. And I would just hate for somebody to fall victim to something that they could have been warned about ahead of time. So, I mean, this was not HWLYP, a Packers podcaster that we once supported, or it was a player or somebody else big in the NFL business. I would definitely be covering it. But with Ryan, I wasn't sure. Matt and I talked about it seriously for a while, but this is not personal. And I do hope, really, and pray that that Ryan will rehabilitate and be okay after this and turn around, which is what I always hope when I watch trials. And I feel terrible for the victims, of course. So, all of us have a responsibility to take online safety seriously for children. We are a very close community. We do have young ones among us. And so I think it's good that we watch out for them in any way that we can. So whatever happens on August 26th during the sentencing, a larger conversation about protecting children online is what we should be willing to have and not be afraid to discuss, even if it's one of our own, so to speak. So when it comes to children, caution is not paranoia. It's not flame throwing. It's being open and honest, brutally honest, sometimes when it's uncomfortable. And I do believe it's our responsibility. So with that, Matt, thank you for your support on this. And I do appreciate you supporting my coverage of this in all cases that I cover. And time for me to have another sip of my drink.
Yeah. So while you do that, Dawn, I'll say a couple of things. One is that, like Dawn said, we've known about the charges for a while, and we knew that like we shouldn't discuss this openly until there was actually until the case had reached a certain point, which it has now. Because we wanted to make sure we're only presenting the facts. I think, Dawn, you did a great job of just like, this is what happened. We're not, trying to insert any emotion to this. We're just saying like, this is important because the ramifications for kids and being aware of dangers that kids can face. And so that people, know the truth about the situation. It's a heavy one, for sure. And I think, unusually heavy for the show, I would say too, but, important. And like Dawn said, we did a lot of discussion about how to approach this topic and, if we should. And we both agree with how Dawn handled it.
Thanks, Matt. It's, again, our podcast usually covers the best of, the funnest, the most, best performances and whatnot, but sometimes some in between stuff and sometimes the worst of, and we just, it's a little shocking to have something close to home. So, so that's what we're about. We're going to be honest with you, but we're mostly here to have fun. And so let's do that. What kind of superlatives do you have, Matt, this week aside from mine? I have some others, but I'm going to let you go because I know I really took a lot of time.
No, it was important. So no apologies needed on that, I have 3 this week, plus another one of my moments of appreciation before we launch into full on season. So I'll just address the flag behind me for a second. I'm having the hardest time getting that thing to stay up on the wall. I swear. I tried 3 different things now. I'll be looking at it again as soon as we
it came down.
Yeah, most of the way down. So yeah, that's frustrating. But
Didn't notice.
I'm glad you didn't. But so not put a bunch of attention to it. So anyhow, I do have 3 superlatives. My first one, I don't know if Westendorf is still here, but it's actually something that he did. So this is best observation. Jacob Westendorf does write for SI.com, Sports Illustrated, and he wrote a great article, Dawn. It was called Most Important Development for Packers in Preseason. They showed backbone. The Green Bay Packers allowed their quarterbacks to get knocked around last season. On Thursday, they showed some fight. So this was great because I think we probably talked about it last season. It seemed like they weren't responding, strongly enough to when, like Jordan Love got his head hit against the ground. It's like in the era of like Josh Sitton and David Bakhtiari, the O-line would have been on that guy and like having some words and maybe getting a penalty, but worth it to send the signal that you don't mess with our quarterback. You don't do that stuff.
Yeah.
So I think we've seen with like Tucker Kraft and sort of Zaire Franklin, the mindset they're bringing, where the team is showing more of that what Andy Herman calls the relative a-hole score, the RAS. We're seeing more of that. And so what Jake was writing about was in the preseason game against the Steelers, how we saw some of that attitude and some of that fight and some of that grit kind of come to the fore, and how refreshing that is, and how if to extrapolate a little bit what he was saying, like if that is the main thing that's different about the team going into the season, like that's huge. And I thought Jacob just wrote about it really, like as always, really well, really intelligently. And it was a great read. So huge hat tip to Jacob for a great article about this improvement in the aggression for these kinds of situations in the team.
Neat. Yeah. And I'm sensing that. You can kind of feel that. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Throughout. Yeah. I love it. That sounds like a great one.
Yeah, with especially the press conferences that Zaire Franklin and Tucker Kraft both had in the last week. Zaire Franklin saying that the comment was like, "I'm going to push everyone's buttons from the coach on down to Chris Brooks," and calling out Chris Brooks because they had like a scuffle that day in practice, and just saying like, when I'm going out there, I'm going to be the best. I'm not going to put up with anything, and I'm like his whole attitude. I think is something that the defense really needed. So it's awesome to see that kind of like a veteran and a vocal veteran coming in to help to make a difference. I'm really excited about Zaire Franklin, and of course, you already know Tucker Kraft is like my favorite current favorite Packer. Yes. So just seeing him back and like the crazy stuff he's doing in practice, like one-handed catches and stuff, and I just get so excited thinking about it, Dawn. So excited.
Oh, I know. I'm trying not to get too excited. I hope that he pushes shirtless Ben's buttons.
Yes.
I'm living for that. Like, figure out a way to push that dude's buttons. That'll be fun.
Yes. So should I go and do another one, Dawn?
Yeah. What else you got? Yes.
All right. My next one. Best analysis. So I feel like we only are getting just like the beginning taste, the morsels, the amuse-bouche, if you will, of the Jonathan Gannon defense. And a lot of people, were really curious to see what's out there. So why not turn to one of the smartest football people we know on one of the smartest football podcasts we know? What am I talking about, Don? I'm talking about Pax What She Said had Dusty Evely on recently. And Dusty basically shared what he has figured out so far, what he saw, in the preseason game. What is Jonathan Gannon doing? What can we glean from that? And it was... Joe says, did Matt say LaDouche? No, amuse-bouche. I did not say LaDouche. Just to see, like, we give some insights onto what the Jonathan Gannon defense might look like. So a lot of people are trying to dig into that, a lot of good articles and stuff, but of all the things I've seen, it was Dusty on Pex What She Said that has, I think, shed the most light onto it and been the most informative and even digestible for that matter.
I've gotten a little, dipped my toes into Blue Sky a little, because I haven't been on much social media at all, but I think Family Night probably, and Dusty, I think, mentioned that he was going to be on that show, and it's on my list too. But I think you're onto something here, that Jonathan, I'm liking this new name, Jonathan Gannon, Jan Gone. Yeah, we're going to work on that. I like Jonathan. It kind of reminds me of, what's that name of that raccoon that's taken over the world?
Jimothy?
Jimothy, yeah.
Jimothy is the hero we need and deserve, really. I like how Joe's comment here. He said, I have come to believe Jonathan Gannon is not a real person. He's just AI, and there's an actor who plays Jonathan Gannon. That might be true. He was very like, I don't want to say this. I don't know what the word is. He was really normal on the last press conference that I saw of him. He was not all hyped up, so he toned it down. Yeah, I think
some people are just type A.
He's developing his ability to project as a person.
Mm-hmm.
How to just not look super strange. But it seems like the defense, when when the players talk about him, they
They love
seem
him.
very, yeah, they love him. Exactly. Couldn't say it better.
Yeah, they love Jan. He's he's Jan. Yeah,
He's
he's
Jan you had forever now. Oh,
yeah,
oh goodness.
forever.
What did I do?
I have my reasons for it. What are your reasons?
Yeah, Joe said, I have my reasons for it. I wonder what they are.
Tell us more.
Oh, Joe, interesting. Very intriguing.
Okay,
Um,
what else you got, Maddie?
yeah, I have one other superlative for the week. It
Okay.
is best insight. Oh, okay. I loved this. People have been sort of complaining or worrying or fretting about our depth at certain positions, specifically cornerback, edge rusher, and O-line, right?
Line
I've talked about myself. I've talked about my concerns about it. It's in the air. So
Mm-hmm.
amidst all of this, who but one of our finest voices of reason steps forward to say, just hold on a second, folks. John Meerdink, in the most recent or one of this week's Blue 58 podcasts, said, okay, here's the thing. We think we have this problem with depth, but let's look at like the other NFC North teams just as a way to start off. It's just as a microcosm. Do they have depth at these positions? Is this a problem that's specific to the Packers, or is it really kind of like a football problem? And so he talked about each one of the NFC North rivals and how their depth or really lack of is in those positions. And like some of them are a little bit stronger in one or the other, sure, but like none of those teams have excellent depth across all three of those. They all have the same kind of concerns we do. So when we're looking for things to nitpick about the team, which of course we're going to do as diehard Packers fans, it is definitely the case that we might just be looking for things to nitpick. It's actually not as bad as it might seem, at least in that
So.
it's a common problem. No team's really escaping
Right.
without this problem,
Right.
And even like the teams that people are like really excited about, like the Rams, for example, they have some serious depth issues at some of their positions as well, including the O-line. So it's not just us, and it's definitely the case. We've talked about this a ton on this show that if you get to the playoffs, that's what matters, because it's not even easy to get in there because injuries play so much of a part in how your season's going to go. Like our season last year, if Micah Parsons and Tucker Kraft hadn't been knocked out by serious injuries, I think we'd have had a deep run. Who knows? Maybe even Super Bowl. Who knows? So it's the injury thing is, I think, what shapes the season almost sometimes more than the talent you have, because of how much it can affect your team's effectiveness. So anyhow, really great point from John Meerdink. Like I said, I called that one best insight. That it's not just us; it's all of us.
Yeah, I like it. Okay, before you get to your bonus, I have a couple. A couple of mine are kind of oldish.
Okay.
All right. So speaking of conspiracies, did you mention conspiracies or not? Or is it just in my head?
I did not mention conspiracies, but
oh, I know what it was. Speaking of injury-laden team, okay. Who, off the top of your head, national broadcasting, wise, like what you hear when you're watching games, which team do you think has the most injuries? Because they are ranked on these things, right?
Like currently or last season, or
let's say historically, but yeah, recent history, like last season.
The 49ers got demolished.
Okay.
And the Lions have a hard time lately, but it's the 49ers.
Yes. So fun little off season, like how do we entertain ourselves until we have real football, right? The truth behind the 49ers conspiracy. No, this is not about Kyle Shanahan's accident when he was in the back seat of a self-driving car. This is Pablo Torre Finds Out, and this is about, have you heard about the conspiracy theory going around? I shouldn't say it's a conspiracy. Have you heard about the theory that's taken hold regarding why the 49ers have so many injuries?
It's about the what's it called, the electrical plant, right? There's a different word for it.
The transformer station. It's not actually the plant, but it's like where I'm not sure if transformer is the word, but yes, that's it. Such a fun episode. with a scientist who was very animated and fun to listen to. But that was a
Mhm.
fun that was a fun one to listen to if you have, I don't know, 40 minutes or something like that. About, and it also, and I was waiting. It's like, how many more injuries do they have than the next one up, right? Like, is it that many more injuries? Now, I do hear that the 49ers owner claims that they are looking for a different place to practice. I think they just want to shut people up. But
Mhm.
yeah, I don't want to say the conclusion of this particular podcast. They could have gone more. They could have gone deeper. I found I had questions that I would have asked, but it would have been a 60-hour podcast if you asked that many questions. But yeah, it was fun. Probably PTFO, the truth behind the 49ers conspiracy was super fun. By the way, speaking of the other 49ers conspiracy, because I thought that was a little clickbaity because it wasn't about Shanahan. Any thoughts on that Shanahan thing?
On the power
Oh,
station
maybe
thing
you
on the
were out of
substation?
town. Okay, you didn't hear about Shanahan's car accident?
No, I didn't really. No, I caught like just a little whiff of it at some point. I was like, "What are we talking about?" So no, what happened
Okay.
there?
Yeah, well, he was in a pretty serious wreck, and there's a lot of different stories about what happened. And it wasn't reported until, like, I don't know, 10, 12, 14 days after. No, I think it was like maybe 11 something ish.
Okay.
But, head coach gets in a pretty serious accident. I mean, pretty serious. He's lucky. He even said, I think he was lucky he wasn't, more seriously injured. And they didn't report it, and there's like conflicts about what the police report said and mistakes that were made and that type of thing. So that's another fun 49ers conspiracy. So, you know, yeah, it's fun.
Interesting word for near death experience, but okay.
Well, it's after the fact, so
Yeah,
it's not
that's true.
about the actual accident.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
The accident, not fun, but
yeah,
yes.
yeah. No, for sure, for sure. But no, so that's kind of fun. Kind of a fun little, like, how do we keep ourselves busy until the football
Yeah.
season
What kind of
happens?
weird stories can we talk about
Well,
to yeah.
and there's still going to be. I think that might have trumped the whole Rossini Vrabel thing finally. So that's maybe people lost interest in that.
Woof.
And yeah, until she comes back and has a podcast or whatever. But
Who knows?
yeah, yeah. Oh, so according to Iowa Joe, Kotnick would be trying to fill the Alex Jones.
Oh Dan. Oh Dan.
Yeah, if Kotnick was the host of this show in place of Pickett, every show would be 2.5 hours. Hey, would that be a bad thing?
Dan, like they do. Oof.
All
So
right.
did you have any other superlatives, or should I do my my bonus one?
I would just say another one, just general,
Go for it.
that isn't outdated because I wrote these and then we didn't. Most thorough, most is that John Gruden's division previews are back.
Mm.
And if you want to get excited about just watching all the games, not just the Packers,
Mhm.
it's really fun. I don't think he's done the NFC North. I think he's doing it last. It might be this week. But I've been waiting for him to do. I can't watch his previews. I can't watch any of his videos like before bed because I'll just get too
You get too amped.
yes. But super, super excited to see him back with those division previews. He goes really deep. And speaking of 2-hour podcasts, they're usually 3 or 4 hours.
Oof.
It's really, that dude has energy and stamina, man.
Yeah,
He
very
really
energetic
knows
guy,
what's
for
going
sure.
on. Yeah.
Yeah,
So that's been fun too. That's been a fun pastime for me.
for sure.
Yeah.
As a side note, you mentioned NFC North previews. Did you hear the one that Mina Kimes did?
I think I watched it.
Yeah, she had Carmen Vitale on with her.
Yes.
Which now. So if those who don't know, Dave Hellman from the Athletic Football Show and Carmen Vitale, who has been on with like Andy Herman, for example, they got married over the summer. And Carmen did mention that she changed her last name officially, but is going to keep Vitale as her like professional name, so that people don't have to like figure out who is this Carmen Hellman person? Also, Carmen Hellman, too much of a, I don't know, not video game, but comic book character name. I feel like personally,
Yeah.
Carmen Hellman. But still, again, congratulations to those guys. Both
Yeah.
amazing football football people.
Commentators.
It's not commentator, because that's like people who are on the broadcast and are talking about the broadcast, what's happening. So that's why I almost said that word, and I was like, no.
But it can be. I mean, a commentator can be just a commentator.
Okay.
But it could be a commenter, because
I believe you.
is...
They both work. That's why I went to football people. All right, Dawn. Should I do my bonus?
Let's do your bonus, Maddie.
My bonus moment of appreciation. Remember, this is meant as a chance to not say a specific thing a person did, but rather just like the body of work they're doing in a specific, way. So as we're going through preseason, I have the alerts from Twitter that come to my home screen, which can be distracting in a good way when I'm trying to get my work done, because I see like all these things, like what's happening in preseason minute by minute. And my favorite kind of those posts are the ones where it's like play by play of the 2-minute drill that they always do near the end of practice every day of camp. And so for those who know, I'm talking about the work that Andy Herman does. So this is a moment of appreciation for Andy Herman's thumbs for keeping us informed and excited about what is happening in the training camp and practice. It gets me really excited about what we're going to see, which players to watch for, and just, again, reading through like the 2-minute drill play by play. I love that so much. So thank you, Andy. Thank you to Andy's thumbs.
And to Andy's like intrepid dedication to his craft. I love it. Yeah, so good. Good one, Maddie. I like that. Any final thoughts? Let's bring her home. Any final thoughts from the chat or from the mat?
Chat or the mat? I think, the thing is about preseason, like the first quarter is kind of fun and the second quarter is kind of like, well, this is good for like learning and things. It is an intellectual exercise. And the third and fourth quarters, man, it's rough. It's rough out there. So we're gonna see the starters a little bit this week, it sounds like. And let's all tune in, guys. Let's watch a quarter, maybe a half of the game.
Oh, I'll watch the whole thing.
You watch the whole thing? I know
I
won't. Because it's here. We can almost taste it. It's so wonderful. And man, other than that, if you have the chance to spread light, if you have the chance to do good things for others, go out and do them, man. Yeah. Combat the darkness. So anyhow, friends, we'd love to have a chance to interview you and shout you out if you're a subscriber and a football fan. If you'd like to nominate someone to be a guest on our podcast, please let us know. Our DMs are open on all the social platforms. And folks, when you subscribe to our podcast, you help us to keep spreading the love in our community. And the best way to help this podcast grow is by sharing it with your friends and family.
Yes, Maddie, that's right, because we love you. We're so glad to know you, to be fans of you, and have the luxury of being fans of the most storied team in the NFL. We appreciate your support, your subscriptions, and we look forward to seeing you in a week or two on...
Yay, we like your pod.
Football in general comes down to discipline and people owning their roles. And when you aren't disciplined or you go outside the scheme, bad stuff happens.